For this lunge variation, we're going to be doing quite a bit of twisting. And it's okay if you use a smaller range of motion that you have control over. Again, we don't want to move into a range of motion we're not comfortable with and aggravate our back. So take your time, and the same idea should be applied to any other exercise we're working on. So for this guy, we're going to start with our legs a little bit wider than hip width apart. We're going to use our hands as training wheels and we're going to place them on our hip. From here, we're going to shift our weight to one side. As we shift our weight back, it's okay to sit back slightly, but we don't want to over-exaggerate, right? We don't want to get into this sort of position. Ideally, we shift our weight over and our butt just comes back naturally a little bit. The shin can stay vertical. As we shift our weight to that one side, we're going to use our hands on our hips to rotate the hip towards the knee that's slightly bending. One more time. We're going to rotate towards the knee that's slightly bending. Now notice how I'm not torquing it. I'm taking my time because we don't all have the same range of motion. For me, I'm pretty comfortable being here and performing what's called an uncupping motion or uncupping of the hips. But for us, keep it small and controlled, and as you get more comfortable, you can explore that range of motion, right? And you're gonna come back up. And we'll go to the other side. Now you'll notice if you're doing this right, you're going to feel a sensation through the hip all the way down the groin. And you'll come back up. Pretty much you'll feel it where you are tightest. So everyone's going to be a little bit different too. And come back up. So this is the motion we're using. So now that you're comfortable moving your hips in that direction, we're going to use our hands. We are going to come across, slightly bend, internally rotate. As we rotate, one hand reaches across and the other hand reaches behind us. So now it's almost like we're spreading out and opening up everything nice and wide. You want to imagine that you have a laser beam coming out of the center of your chest. So whatever side you're going towards, the laser is going to touch it. If we can't touch it and we notice that our body's like this, we're just kind of reaching behind us, we're not getting the rotation we're after. It's okay to be here if you can't be here. It's okay to be here if you can't be here. Use the proper range of motion that you have. But the idea is we come across, rotate through the hip, reach back, and come back. And if we perform it on the other side, across, reach back, come back. Once you're comfortable with that variation, we are going to use a resistance band. A light resistance band. We're not trying to break any bicep curl records here. We're trying to just have a little resistance that will allow us to rotate through the hips a little bit differently. So I'm going to hold the band so my palms are facing up towards the ceiling. I'm going to have the band in between my body. As I rotate, I'm going to pull the band apart and come back. Once again, I'm going to pull the band apart, look back towards that thumb, and come back. On the opposite side, pull the band apart and come back. Pull the band apart, rotate those hips, and come back. Now, one last piece of the puzzle. For all of the progressions, no matter which one you're using, you need to focus on breathing. As I go into my rotation and I create that length and I rotate through the hips, deep inhale, exhale, come back. Your ability to inhale and exhale allows your body to get a different stretch because we're blocking our normal breathing pattern. Very important. Give it a try. I would say do between 5 and 6 on each side for anywhere between 2 to 4 sets.